I entered high school as a girl who had quite the mix of interests, especially in art, math, and science. Since I loved both math and science, I thought that being an engineer would be the perfect fit for me. I remember sitting in lecture after lecture about engineering at nearly every college near my house. Me and my parents visited college after college. We went to Drexel, Widener, Lehigh, Temple, and so many more, looking for the right engineering college and field for me. Each visit was the same, sitting in a large white conference room listening to speech after engineering speech, with the hum of the projector in the background, while trying to find who I was. I continuously dipped my toes in the waters of many engineering fields while trying to find where I fit in. All the while, my mom and dad were cheering on my dreams to become a woman engineer and taking me to day camps and telling everyone they know that I was going to be an engineer with all the pride in the world. I could see how proud they were, and I didn't want to disappoint them. So, I kept on searching to find the engineering field that fit me best. We soon decided to visit Penn State and explore its many options for engineering. And so, on one hot July day, my dad, my friend Kira, and I arrived at PSU to spend a summer day. We arrived on campus and were immediately overwhelmed with its size and beauty. There were so many things to see. After we got out of the introduction seminar, we began to decide our schedule for the rest of the day. There was so much to do, we really didn't know where to begin. All we knew was that our major priorities were engineering for me and the School of Business for Kira. We decided to take a look at the list, and we realized that we still had quite a bit of time until the engineering lecture would begin, and even longer until the business meeting began. But soon, there was going to be a tour of the nursing building, so just for fun, we decided to go and check it out. We made our way over to what used to be the HHD building, but is now the Nursing Sciences building, and walked down to the lower entrance of the building and into the basement. Immediately we turned right into the conference room, which they made virtually impossible to miss with all of the signs and arrows pointing towards it. We sat down under the bright fluorescent lights, surrounded by the low chatter of people making small talk with their neighbors. The whiteboards around the room glared at us from three sides. On one half of the room, there were students chatting, and on the outskirts of the room, there were what seemed to be administrators or professors. The chatter died down as one of the professors, a middle-aged woman with light hair, came up to talk about what the College of Nursing was at Penn State. After she finished covering the information on courses and requirements, we all emptied out into a hallway that wrapped around a large central area that had been set up to look like a hospital. Lining the hall were rooms with different stimulations, like childbirth or ICU. I was so intrigued by all of the mannequins that could breathe and had a pulse. I felt drawn to play with and learn about all of the equipment that was set up. I felt at home. I was so interested in this. I wanted to spend the rest of the afternoon there, learning about the mannequins and instruments, but we had to go to the engineering lecture soon. We made our way over to the Agricultural and Biological Engineering building through the hot summer sun, and I couldn't stop thinking about the nursing lecture. We sat through the Biological and Agricultural Engineering lecture and then headed across the street to the business building. Even throughout the engineering and business lectures, I kept thinking back to how deeply I connected with the environment of the nursing building. I was also thinking about how boring some of the fields of engineering were that I was looking into. Later that summer, I decided to tell my parents that I was doing nursing instead, but after I had done my research on it. My mom explained, "I really don't think you should do this. I think you should think it through more. Maybe you just haven't found your area yet. And if you're an engineer, then you'll be making so much more money." Meanwhile, my dad said, "Don't make a brash decision just because you're frustrated and think you can't find your field. If you stick with engineering, you're going to get so many more scholarships." They were honestly concerned that I make the right decision, but to me, I had already made my decision. The money didn't matter, and neither did scholarships. I applied to multiple schools for nursing despite the constant and growing criticism of my decision. It all came from a good place, but it made me second guess going into nursing, especially because I thought that I was disappointing my parents. I got accepted into the College of Nursing at Penn State, and I was so excited. I accepted my offer, and the following August, I made the trip up to University Park for my first semester of college, and I loved it. I was so happy in my classes and doing Blue Band, and my family saw that. They saw how excited I was about my major, despite what disapproval they may have. And when they did see how happy I was, that disapproval dissipated and they became happy with me. Even though I had thought that by doing what would make me happy, I would disappoint them, I learned that because they loved me, they would support whatever truly made me happy, even if it's not what they wanted. I also realized that sometimes your own happiness is something important to consider, and the people who truly love you will support any path you take, especially when they see how happy it makes you.